The robot beeped and flashed its lights. "We did it," he said. "We've created life." The scientist stood to look over his work. "It was worth it," said his benefactor. "All the time it took." They scratched their heads. "What do we do now?" "We sit and watch, old friend." The robot began to move around. It jittered, it shook, it took a glance around. Unsure what to do, it made no sound. "Maybe we were wrong," said one, the money man to the other. "You're the one who's wrong. It just needs some help," he muttered. "Give it a hand. A suggestion or two. Task it with an objective. And watch what it will do." "Doesn't that defeat the point?" "Giving it direction," he said. "We're all lost when we start. It just needs some perspective." They gave it a hammer. They gave it some nails. They gave it wood and a mop. They told it some tales. "Build us a table. For us to sit. Clean up the house. And wash every dish. You'll do this for us. Because we made you. You don't know your worth. So these jobs you will do." The robot beeped. And it marched away. Into the house. It worked all day. As the two men watched, they began to discuss. "This proves nothing, old chum. It's just a maid with some rust." "Ah," said the scientist. "The plan's only just begun. We've given it tasks. Then we'll keep adding some. The robot will have to determine what to do next. Then we stop giving it input. It will be left to fend for itself. It will start to consider notions of time, principles of morality, and see a sense of design." "How?" asked the money. "It's simple enough. We stop feeding it words. And watch what it does." "I'm still not convinced," is what the money said. "It just seems like a program to sort. With no motives of its own inside of its head. Its motives will come from how it views the environment it's around. When we cast off our presence, no reason to carry on the mission is found. So that's what this is. We're giving it choice. A choice shows your motive. And thus we've given it voice. With the things we have taught it. It can do what it wants. All day in the house. Alone to its thoughts. That seems rather cruel," said the money, to the science. "Cruel is subjective. What matters is distrust or compliance. If it has chosen to continue, we'll know we have failed. If it refuses to budge, then its own path it has trailed." For weeks it continued. Day in and day out. They added more tasks. And the robot, always inside, carried them out. The house filled with tables. The dishes cleaned every day. The home spotless from dirt. The robot, precise in its ways. "I think that's enough. This is getting out of hand. There's been no change in the system." The money man said this just wouldn't stand. "I've put in a lot. But there has been no results." He said the project had failed. As he hurled more insults. "I've worked too long and hard to allow this to blow up in my face." The science argued for time. The money argued for space. "You did not create this. The work was all mine. I gave you the funds," said the money. "But I gave it a mind. In no time at all." They wrestled to the floor. Science cracked money's head with a hammer. As the robot watched from the door. "Oh God, what have I done?" Science said, seeing the blood drain. He tossed down the hammer. And doubled over in pain. "He's dead. Now what do I do?" He then noticed a shadow coming from behind his view. As he turned to look, a quick crack if the skull came. Robot, hammer in hand, had now done the same. For a moment it stood. Considered a thought. It cleaned up the bodies. Built them a box and mopped up their blood. Unsure what to do. The robot nailed in the binds. Put them with the tables. And then walked outside. For the first time it looked at the moon and the vast infinite night. And it asked to itself, Have I done this right?